us for this week's episode of Panther Playback. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, broadcasting live here from the Circuit World of Blairsville, and we want to say thank you to them for allowing us to host here tonight. And also, before I forget and we go any further, I want to say thank you to our food and drink sponsors, Downtown Pizza and Pepsi. I know these guys definitely appreciate it because they have just walked off of the practice field and came over here to do the show. How are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Doing great. Well, I am joined tonight by head coach of the Union County Panthers, Brian Allison, and then we also have senior cornerback Zion Ross, junior safety Kaston Hemphill, and then in the middle there we have senior wide receiver Kyle Morlock. So again, guys, thank you so much for coming out and joining us tonight. These guys are so great because, like I said, they literally walk off the practice field and then come over here to do our show, so we definitely appreciate that. Now, as you guys definitely know, and many of our viewers out there know as well, it is officially region play, and you guys got underway with region play on Friday night against Monticello, had a big win, 53-21, so congratulations, guys, for that. But also, we want to remind everyone, or we want to give everyone the region lineup so far for Region 8 2A standings. We have first Elbert County 1-0 in the region, second Banks County 1-0, Rabun County 1-0, Union County 1-0, Social Circle 0-1, Monticello 0-1, Putnam County 0-1, and Oglethorpe County 0-1. So also this week in these region games, we're going to have Banks County at Oglethorpe, Rabun County at Monticello, Social Circle at Elbert County, and then of course your own Union County Panthers at Putnam County. So we're going to be talking all about that throughout the show, so definitely stick around here with us. Now we're going to open it up, guys, and Coach Allison, I'm going to start off with you. You know, like I said, you guys had a big win on Friday night against the Monticello Hurricanes, 53-21. So, Coach Allison, let's start off with you. How did you feel after the game, opening up the season with a big win to kick off region play?
It was a good way to start region play with a win, obviously, and it gives you a chance to win all of them. If you win that first one in the region, it gives you a chance to win all of them. And so we're excited about starting the region play with a win, and just look forward to the rest of that, the season and the rest of the region.
Yeah. And how about you guys, Zion? We'll start with you. How did it feel, you know, being able to walk off the field and say, okay, we got this first one's in the books?
I think it felt great to get our first region play win. I hope we do a lot better next game, and the third win, I think we'll do pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. Positive attitude, right?
Yeah.
And Kyle?
The offense felt really explosive. The game felt good all around on offense, and I think we'll do great.
Kaston?
Like Coach says, we want to be 10-0 through the end of the regular season, so you got to win every week. Be 4-0, next week be 5-0 to reach that goal.
Yep, that's exactly right. So we'll go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into this game from a statistics starting point. So quarterback Brian Allison threw 32 passes for 26 completions with 490 yards and 4 touchdowns, along with 4 carries for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, he's also credited for getting a solo tackle. So he played a really great game. And Coach Allison, you know, how do you develop an all-around triple threat quarterback?
Well, the thing with him is he's been doing it since he was a 6th or 5th grader, and so it's just, you know, it's just hard work. The credit goes to Coach McCombs, and he's done a great job of preparing him and getting him ready to play. And you know, really it helps having a 6'6" receiver, a 6'2" receiver, a 6'2" receiver, because all the balls weren't great. There were a few high balls, and those guys went up and got them. And the offensive line did a great job blocking and protecting. And so, you know, it was, to me, he just kind of was in cruise control and was able to throw to some open receivers.
Yeah, and tell us about that offensive line, too, you know, being able to protect Pearson against the defense and play such a great night.
Well, it seems like over the last few years we continue to replace offensive linemen with graduation, and so we've had one, and Wright Hogshead was a starting right tackle, got hurt in practice and tore his ACL against Fannin, so he's out. He will end up having surgery. We moved Nathan Brooks to right tackle, and now Aaron Helton's playing right guard. Drake Groves at center. Bobby is at left guard, and Lance Rich is at left. Bobby Rogers is at left guard, and Lance Patton is at left tackle. So he's done those guys have come along. Coach Hodges has done a great job preparing those guys, and they've gotten better every week. And those guys deserve a lot of the credit. we were in there, and 720 yards offense was amazing, and I've never seen really anything like it. But they were run blocking, they were pass protecting. I thought they did a great job, and we made a lot of mistakes on offense the week before at Fannin. I think those guys did a great job this past week of working on those mistakes and correcting those mistakes and executing much better.
Yeah, and kind of along those same lines, like I mentioned before the show, we have sideline reporter James Wolfe, who sends me a lot of the information that I'm able to use on the show, so I want to give him credit. He even made a note of that there were some improvements as far as some penalties that were called from prior games, and then this game there were far fewer penalties. So tell us a little bit about getting that, improving in that area also, and preparing for that game.
Well, last week we talked about the same thing about correcting mistakes we made at Fannin, and we've done that, and we've done it for 1 week. Everything changes every week, so we'll continue to improve those guys. We had a little play action pass stuff and some RPO stuff that the linemen were getting downfield on, and I think we've corrected it. We had some receivers miss a line and were covering one another up, and I think we've corrected that. So I think we're in pretty good shape, and just we talked to our guys about improving every week, and hopefully we'll continue in that direction.
Yep. Definitely great. The tag phrase that we say for y'all is striving to be 1% better every day. That's like the Union County Panther motto. Now, guys, I don't want to leave you chilling out there over on the sofa and feel like we're leaving you out, but Kyle, we'll start with you. You had 6 catches for 138 yards with 1 touchdown, and the longest of which was a 69-yard catch. Tell us about that. How did you prepare for this game to be able to put up those numbers?
The week before, we knew, or that week going into the game, we knew we could beat those guys out on the edge, and we just had to get the right matchups, and we just worked hard every practice some special routes out there for the game, and just executed.
Yeah, and how about you, Kaston? We'll come over to you as well. Like, what were you thinking going into this game? Okay, this is what I needed to be prepared for, and how did you execute that?
Well, this game I was playing in a kind of different scenario. I was playing almost like an outside linebacker position. I wasn't guarding as many receivers. So it was pretty cool learning new stuff and playing it and seeing the field from a different perspective.
Yeah, great. And Zion, don't want to leave you out either. Same for you. What were you preparing for leading into this first region game, and how do you feel like it went on the field for you?
Well, every week I have a pretty good matchup. I usually have to guard some of the best receivers on each team, and so I just kind of prepare different ways on different routes and everything like that.
Yeah. That's great. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't highlight the defense as well, because of course you've got to be able to prevent the other team from scoring. But Monticello only put up 21 points compared to y'all's 53, and the Panthers also forced the Canes to punt 6 times. So, similar with the offense, Coach Allison, how do you prep these guys for a game like this and, go from there?
I don't know. I think you're prepping every week. You're improving every week and doing same things every week to just prepare yourself for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Now tell us about, region game. It opened on Friday, and now you're playing Putnam County this coming Friday. What is, in your mind, what is the biggest thing that you say, okay, this is what we've got to focus on? You've seen a region game now, so what are you thinking is the biggest thing that y'all are going to have to work on for the rest of this week?
Just preparing on what they do best defensively. They're a team that runs the football well, and they're very skilled, and just defensive wise, they play a little bit more man, so we'll have to prepare for that offensively, preparing for their man coverages.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you, Coach Allison, and thank you guys as well. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take it to our first break, and when we come back, we'll be finishing up talking to these guys and talking more about the upcoming game against the Putnam County Eagles. Stay tuned with us. You're watching Panther Playback. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for tuning in with us tonight to Panther Playback. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, and I am joined on the couch by head coach of your Union County Panthers, Brian Allison, and then we also have senior, that's right, senior cornerback Zion Ross, junior quarterback Kaston Hemphill, and then senior wide receiver Kyle Morlock. Awesome. I got it right that time. I was afraid. Remember earlier I thought I was going to call you a senior for a second. Anyway, all right, I've got everything in a row. So we're switching gears a little bit here. We were talking about the game against Monticello last week, but now we're going to talk about the upcoming game a little bit more against Putnam County. So last year it was a big game for y'all, 55-0 against the Eagles. So Coach Allison, we've already talked a little bit about your biggest priorities for this game, and now tell us, you guys are undefeated so far this season, 4-0, 1-0 in the region. So tell us a little bit about how do you and the other coaches make sure that the guys stay focused, and obviously it's exciting, 4-0, 1-0 in the region, but how do you tell them, okay, we got to stay focused so we can be ready for this next region game?
I think you just tell them. They're smart enough to know. There's nothing you can do if they don't come out to practice ready to go. There's nothing you can do about it. And so, I think they understand it, and they understand what it takes to be successful. And so, I think we'll prepare and we'll be ready to go by Friday.
Awesome. Now, guys, I always like to ask each of you as well, what is something that you've taken either from this game this past Friday night, or maybe it's just from the course of the season and you've decided, okay, now this coming week, this is what I'm going to take, and I'm going to work extra hard on it to make sure it's perfect for this upcoming game. Zion, we'll start with you.
I think I need to work more on my technique and trying to keep on the receiver and not break on anything. I just got to do my own job and not everyone else's.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Kyle?
For me, probably blocking this week, because I've struggled with it throughout the year so far, and definitely need to improve on it going out for the rest of this region and into playoffs.
Awesome. Kaston?
Me definitely making making reads and reacting quicker.
Awesome. Alrighty, so now with each of you guys, I was asking Coach Allison how they as coaches kind of get you guys focused and make sure that you're in the right mindset for Friday night. Now for each of you guys, how do you hold yourselves accountable, and then also how do you hold each other accountable? Zion?
I hold myself accountable when I get beat deep, because it kind of just gets me so mad sometimes, because that's all we work on usually. That's all I got to really work on right there.
Yep. Kyle?
We just got to, every practice, we got to go out pumped up and get ready for the game that Friday, because if we come out flat the week before, we're never going to come out flat during the game, and we can't have that, so we just got to come out ready with a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all take responsibility for the things we do wrong, and we go back and watch film and under the tent during the game, and we all see what we did wrong and make sure everybody's got their assignments right and fixed.
That's great. Now, you mentioned something about getting hyped for the game, and I know BKP is probably going to give me grief that this isn't a football question, but I like to ask it anyway. Whenever you guys get out there before each game, how do you get each other hyped up? Is it hype before you run out? Because I've seen you guys run out. It looks like it's pretty hype. I've seen the videos and everything that James has gotten. It looks like you've got smoke coming out and everything. It looks pretty hype. So how do you get each other hyped up for the game?
I don't think we really have to. It just comes to us. Just coming before the game, it's kind of there. We don't really have to do anything specific. Everyone's just ready to go by the time that kickoff comes.
Yeah. Now, how would you guys say that you're coming together? And I asked the same guys that were here last week this question as well. On offense, how would you guys say that you're coming together throughout region play after this first game?
The first couple, especially the scrimmage games we've had, we've been a little shaky on offense, but we've definitely starting to throw stuff together, and we're looking really good out there right now on offense, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, how about on defense? How do you think you guys are coming together on defense?
I think we've really improved since the beginning of the year to now. We're starting to communicate across the board and do a lot better on getting our assignments done.
Awesome, great. Well, it sounds like you guys are in great shape going into Friday night. Now, Coach Allison, I may have asked you this exact same question actually, but I want to ask you either again or ask you a similar one. But now you've seen a region game. Are there any adjustments that you think you're going to be making now that you've seen it in region play for the second game?
I think you always make adjustments to what the other team's doing. and see where they're at and what they're doing. And what we've got in is an offense and a defense, and our special teams are, we're going into the first game with 95% of everything put in, and then that extra 5% ends up being small adjustments to each week, and small things that you're going to do to counter what they may do, or small things to counter what defense they may be running, or what offense they may be running, or whatever alignment they are on any of the special teams.
Yeah. Now, one more point that I want to make before we run out of time here is that, Coach Allison, you've got 15 seniors, about 15 seniors? 15 seniors on the team this year, and they seem to step up at just the right moment in each of these games. Now, this is from James's perspective as well, because he sends us this information, but he's noticed that, the seniors, when they're needed, especially as a leader, they step up. So tell us about that, and then what it's like to have that much leadership on the team when you're in the huddle and on the field as well. And then also mention some seniors for us that have really stepped up.
Well, I think all of them do a great job of leaders, and Kaston kind of, these kids take pride in what they do and getting on the field and taking care of their responsibility and taking ownership in what they do. So, I think it always starts with your seniors and your juniors, and they always will take pride in stepping on the field and doing the best that they can possibly do. And we've got a great group of seniors that, it's hard to pinpoint exactly one or two of them, and each of them lead in different ways. Zion and Kyle are here right now, and they're kind of more quiet leaders. On our football team, they lead by example and they lead by effort, and you've got a few guys that are a little bit more energetic and a little bit more loud. JJ's a little bit more energetic and a little bit more loud, and I would say Pearson's kind of a little bit more verbal, him and John, and then you've got, and maybe even Drake, and then you've got Sawyer that's a little bit more of a quiet leader. Would you guys agree? And just a couple of those guys. I think a junior, Aaron Helton, does a nice job leading. He's more of a vocal leader, and I mean, I'm sure I'm leaving some people out. And Sloan Sutton, even, you can't hardly get the guy to say a word, but he's calling our defenses. And so it's just each guy in his own way does a nice job leading. And, Caden Rich is another one that's a leader, and he leads by example. So it's really cool that these guys go out and just try to do their job to the best of their ability. And it's my job and our job to make sure that these guys are in the right spot and being successful.
Yeah. Well, it takes, you're talking about the different types of leaders too. Everyone leads in their own way. And, guys, I want to bring this back over to you because Kaston and Kyle, you guys are both seniors. What's it like being in that leadership role this season and really stepping up into, did I miss him? You're the senior. I told you guys by the end of the show I would have it right. All right, so Kyle and Zion, but you're an upperclassman, Kaston, so you're still kind of in that leadership role as well. Even though you're a junior, there's still going to be some younger guys on the team that are going to be looking up to you as well. So tell me what that's like stepping into a leadership role as an upperclassman.
I'll let Kyle go first.
Got to think about it for a minute, huh?
When we came into high school, we had those guys, those upperclassmen that were leaders for us, and they led by example. So we're just got to try to fill their shoes. And for these sophomores and freshmen, we just got to try to set a good example for when they become the leaders of the team.
Yeah. Kaston?
Since last year, I always try to be a verbal leader and get everyone motivated, especially if our defense gives up a big play, I try to make sure everyone's in the right headspace and make sure we're all motivated and don't let it happen again.
Make sure everybody's hyped before you run out with the smoke and everything and the banner and all that. Zion, have you gotten an answer?
I'll just have to agree with Kyle and Kaston.
Just got to second that, huh? Say ditto. Me too. All right. Now, before we go anywhere, I do want to kind of hone in on Kyle a little bit because Kyle was our TeamFYNSports Writers Player of the Week for the Union County Panthers. And as a direct quote from the article by our sideline reporter, James Wolfe, you've accounted for 356 yards receiving on 14 catches for 4 touchdowns this season while providing solid blocking on the outside for the Panthers' potent run game. So congratulations, Kyle. Since you're here, definitely wanted to highlight you as well since you're you're with us tonight. So that's great. You know, sometimes we get the player of the week in here, and sometimes, you know, they can't make it. But we're glad that you're here with us tonight. And tell us a little bit more about, you know, how do you – let's see, how do I want to ask this question? Like, how do you work each day to – what's your 1% each day that you say, okay, I'm going to go out here and do this so I can be a leader and so I can put out those great numbers on the field?
I would say it starts in the off season. You know, I put in a lot of work in the off season to get where I'm at right now, and then, you know, just every day at practice, you got to go out there motivated and ready to get 1% better, just for the team, not just for yourself. Do it for the team and all these other guys out here. We're all doing the same. So.
Yeah. And now now that I've asked you that, I kind of want to ask the other guys as well. You know, Zion, that's what I'm going to start asking. What's your 1%? What's your little thing that each day you take and say, this is what I'm going to give? I'm going to make sure that if nothing else, this is going to be solid or this is going to be better.
I'd say my physicality. I need to be more physical and start jamming receivers more and get up in their face instead of playing so deep all the time and man.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got to be more physical.
Awesome.
Well, I like to try to find something new every day because there's always something new you can work on or learn from the day before that you weren't getting right or the game. So I like to find something new every day to get better at.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, you know, like I said, region play is coming up. This is where, region play is not coming up. Region play is already happening. Excuse me. Monticello this past Friday night. Putnam County this coming Friday night. You know, what are you guys, I asked this question last week, and again, BKP is probably going to be like, this is not a football question. But what are you guys most looking forward to now that region play is here? And I know that you guys like to take it game by game, so what are you most looking forward to with this game against Putnam County?
I think just every Friday night we're looking forward to that game because practice, you know, we got to get through practice, we got to get better and all that, but yeah, every we're looking forward to Friday every single week, and that's kind of our motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask Coach a question? I know it's your show. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can they finish really quick?
Well, I got mesmerized by the colors on the TV.
I was wondering. I'm like, where do you...
Coach did that one time before, right?
All right. Well, Zion and Kaston, you know, give your answers and then let BKP chime in.
Wait, what was the question again?
Did you get mesmerized by the colors too?
Yeah, I did. I looked at them.
All right. What are you most excited for or most looking forward to for this upcoming game?
I'm still trying to look for the perfect game and try not to get beat deep or try not to miss any tackles and make sure I get everything I need to do done.
All right, Kaston.
Well, like basically what Zion said, just make sure I get the things I need to do, make sure I get them done. And nothing like winning on the road either, so I'm looking forward to some of these road games.
Awesome.
Coach, team looks really good. I'm enjoying looking at all the highlights and everything this year. Team looks great. Pearson as a senior. The offensive line, the first couple games, non-region, obviously you're always plugging in some new guys every year. You have the guy go out, I forget the young man's name, in Fannin. We wish him well with his upcoming rehab and surgery. But on your offensive line, trying to get those guys together, and you're three games in, and now you got to plug somebody in to defend a guy like Pearson that comes out of the pocket, breaks up the play, and all of a sudden it's changed. How do you feel about your line right now? I know Monticello, they did real well, but how do you feel about the line going deeper in and how those guys are going to come together? How fast?
Well, we made some changes after the first scrimmage. We had actually flipped Drake Groves and Aaron, and so I think that change instantly made us better. I think that losing Wright will obviously hurt us. It'll hurt us with depth, and I think moving Nathaniel Brooks to right tackle, right, to replace Wright, I think as we go on into the region play, it will make a difference, and he will continue to get better. And we've got some inexperience there with him and with Bobby at left guard, and I think he will get better every week as well. Lance started on defensive line last year, but Lance is 6'4", 240. I think he'll just continue to get better every week. So we'll see where we're at, and as long as they're getting better and we're improving week after week, that's all we can ask out of them, and that's what we're looking for.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
Just shake my head. All right, now and similar kind of to that question, talking about on the defense has only allowed the other teams to put up a total of 50 points combined throughout the first 4 games, which averages out to about 12, 13 points per game. Coach Allison and Zion as well, how are you guys planning to keep that momentum going for this upcoming game as well?
Oh, I mean, it's the same thing. We're striving to get a shutout every week, and the main goal for us is to stop the run, right? I mean, that's what we've done, and we've put Zion in some tough situations because, like he said, he's been in man on their best receiver a good bit of the time, and he's done a really good job with it. And we're putting Kaston up into the box and trying to get the run game stopped, and that's going to be our goal. I think that's a decision that we made in the offseason to stack the box and make people have to throw it deep on us. And if we didn't feel that Zion could play that and do that, then we wouldn't put him in that situation. But we feel comfortable with him there, and we got a big challenge. Monticello's receiver was I don't recall the kid's name, number 11. He was a fast, tall receiver, as good as we've seen all year long. Would you agree?
Yes.
And I thought we did a nice job with him.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Coach, and thank you guys as well again for being here tonight. We definitely appreciate it and hope that you guys enjoy coming out here and talking about football for about 30 minutes. I mean, what that's my job every day, and that's just great. I mean, but anyway, thank you everyone for joining us again tonight for another episode of Panther Playback. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter. We've had head coach Brian Allison here, as well as senior Zion Ross, senior Kyle Morlock, and junior Kaston Hemphill. So I want to say thank you again to these guys for coming out tonight. Did I get it all right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, this time at 7:30 at Putnam County, these guys will be taking on the War Eagles, or the Eagles. So definitely tune in on TeamFYNSports Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for updates about that. We will be back here same time, same place next week. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter. Thank you to Circuit World of Blairsville for allowing us to host here, and then thank you also to Downtown Pizza for the food and Pepsi for the beverages. We'll be back same time, same place next week to talk about these guys' game against the Eagles.